Okay, in the recent news, there was a car bomb that went off in Iran to take out one of the nuclear scientists. So I thought it would be kind of timely to talk a little bit about car tampering and protecting yourself from your vehicle being tampered. This often happens quite a bit, more than people think. When there's a private investigator investigating you, it's gotten to be very common for domestic violence situations. So these are just some kind of quick tips to talk about that. So what you see before you is just a very easy kit to put together. Essentially a telescoping mirror. This one has LED light on it, a little bag of gravel or sand, some tape, just some regular Scotch tape, and then a flashlight. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use these tools to protect our car from infiltration. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to, on the ground, we're going to use some of this gravel here. Now you can see that the gravel that I picked up in this bag matches the gravel on my ground. The idea here is that the gravel that I have on the ground near me is recognizable by me, and maybe not as recognizable by somebody else. Now it could just be sand, you could use dust, doesn't really matter. But the idea here is that the coloration of my driveway is something I see every day, and it's something that I want to be able to spot, whereas other people might not as readily. So if the sand or gravel is disturbed in and around by my car door where I've put it, then it's a pretty good indicator that maybe my car has been tampered with. So at that point I might start thinking about whether it was tampered with inside or outside the car. Now if it's outside, I have my mirror, and what I would want to do is use the mirror to go underneath on the car here and check for maybe GPS devices that are put in. Of course, one of the more popular places is going to be back here under the bumper. So now you have to keep in mind that a GPS unit is going to be most often magnetized, and it's going to be put on hastily. Someone's not really going to put it in very deep into the car because of timing, but also because of signal issues. So think about that. It's not going to be super hidden. The other thing too, of course, are the wheel wells, and we've got our flashlight to do that. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look for the Scotch tape. Now you could probably see it here. My car is kind of dirty, so you'll be able to see it quite well. But I have the door taped here. Now the concept here is very similar to, say, setting a trap in a hotel room. We talked about this in a video before about setting a compass as a trap, or you could use newspaper. I did some posts on there so that someone is tampered with. A piece of cellophane tape makes for a pretty good test. Now, coming over here, what I want to do is I'm actually not going to want to enter my car through the driver's side door, especially if for any reason I think there might be an explosive. I'm going to come through the passenger side door. Most likely that is going to be the place where it's going to be easier to inspect for any kind of devices looking under the seat, and within the car. Now I could, if I wanted to, go ahead and then turn on the car, turn on the ignition, and see if there's interference with the radio. Now you can use a regular analog radio, just a handheld Radio Shack radio. You could use a digital radio too. Most bugging devices are going to be that are accessible to most people are going to be the cheaper ones, and those will come off quite easily on any kind of radio. Second is that the bugs are going to be placed anywhere where your conversation is going to be. So it's going to be located somewhere where conversations are, not generally in the back. All right. So now that we've seen that, okay, the car is relatively safe, Now, one thing you'll notice is I'm leaving the car door open here as I'm doing this. The idea here is that if there was an explosive planted in the vehicle, then if I leave the door open, then if there is an explosion, hopefully the concussion will push me out of the car, and I will be badly hurt, but I will most likely or hopefully not be killed. So the car door will remain open until we know that there are no bombs or anything there. So I'll just at this point get into the front seat of the car, turn on the ignition, and leave the car door open. Again, leave the car door open and be able to drive away. Now, you want to think about your vehicle in terms of protection, no different than a computer. Think about if you leave your computer to be tampered with at any point, then you just have to assume that it's been tampered with. So until you've fully checked out your vehicle, done RF scans, visual inspection, and so on, you just need to assume that your car has been bugged. So with that,